One of the most heard comments about getting ready for the PMP exam is how hard it is to understand the 49 processes. So as usual, I'm on a mission. If you don't know about this channel, this is Praizion, and we train project management, leadership, communications, and soft skills to help project managers be the best version of themselves and to excel on the PMP exam. So today we're taking a look at scope management. I am going to explain scope management in simple English for you so that you've got a much better idea of the 6 processes. Number 1, plan how to manage scope. You need to decide how to manage the scope, the size of the project. How will you collect requirements and which processes will you use? It needs to be intentional. The second step is you begin to collect the requirements from the customer or end user. I want you to think about this analogy. You go to a restaurant, you sit down, and you expect food to be served without telling the waiter no. You need to tell the waiter what the requirements are, what you want. When you make it clear what the requirements are, based on your requirements, they know how to get your food prepared. They understand how your steak needs to be well done versus medium rare. Now, this is requirements. Based on the requirements, we know the scope of what needs to be done. Based on the product requirements, we understand the project scope. And that is why requirements are here, because you cannot truly understand the enormity of what needs to be done in the kitchen, for example, without understanding the requirements of what the customer wants. And this is one of the tricky steps that I find people getting hung up on in this chapter. So in scope, we collect requirements. We put them into a requirements traceability matrix or other requirements documentation, and that allows us to proceed to the next stage in scope. And this is called define scope. So in define scope, we begin to define the scope of work involved in delivering the requested requirements. Make sense? You cannot understand scope if you don't have requirements. I often say requirements beget scope. The requirements give birth to the scope. As a result of the requirements, you know what the scope is. Let's move on to the 4th thing that happens. Number 4, create a hierarchical decomposition of what needs to be done. In other words, like a family tree structure. And I'm talking specifically about the WBS, the work breakdown structure. The work breakdown structure breaks the work from the topmost level down into sequences of lower levels. You got a higher level piece of work, and then you have level 2, and then level 3, and then level 4 in that order. Bear in mind, though, that the aim of the WBS is not to be chronological. We're not looking to arrange everything in a time-based order. That is kept aside for schedule management. So right now, we're just looking to show the breakdown of work. The schedule is what weaves it together chronologically, so keep that in mind. All right, the next thing we're going to look at here is step 5. And step 5 here is having the customer inspect. So as you can see here, it says have the customer inspect and review your work. and decide if it is acceptable. We call this validate scope. So this is all the way to the right of the page 25 table under monitoring and controlling. So this is a monitoring and controlling stage where you have the customer carry out an inspection. You're either going to get an accepted deliverable or a change request. Let's go on to our final one. The final one in this sequence, my friends, is where you, the project manager, work to prevent gold plating. And gold plating is the addition of extras that were not authorized. You're preventing any gold plating or addition of extras, and you ensure that only the approved scope is completed, nothing else. And that completes our review of scope for today, my friends. Just so you know, the PMP exam immersion book is available. It encapsulates everything you need to know for the PMP exam into people, process, and business. It breaks it down into a predictive spin and an agile spin as well. It's written with me. I'm a buddy, Roy Schilling. We have this available on Amazon, also on the Praizion site. If you have not gotten your copy, do get your copy. It is going to help you get your arms around the enormity of content. It's going to help you be able to think more situationally. All right? Thank you very much. I look forward to hearing the great news of your success on this test. Bye for now.